Until tomorrow. There's always another opportunity for Facebook to show its face, its real face, right? Matt, Smiley Miley without the S, I'm so happy to have you here. And we are coming to you live from Northern Colorado. This is Northern Colorado Small Business Prevail and Prosper private Facebook group. And everybody, you probably know me or not, but I'm Michelle Oliver, and Matt Meuli is here from Meuli Law today. And I'm so excited truly to reconnect with you. Like, we met, I think, in like a long time ago. I mean, it was like 2015 when I was commuting to Fort Collins from Estes Park.
Mm-hmm.
And we met at a networking group and kind of started referring business a little bit. We were starting some kind of educational thing, and then I went down a different road. So that was kind of the last time I saw you, and I don't know how we reconnected, but I'm just so happy that we did. And I really appreciate you taking the time, not only to do the interview, but to join the group, because I think you're going to contribute a lot of value. And I know this has been a tough day for you, and we're all kind of sick of Zoom meetings. Like, what? But I got to go out of the house today, so I'm full of energy from just like waving at people in their cars, and so happy to see like living, breathing people. And it's a different kind of energy, right? So anyway, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate being here, Michelle. And it's great to reconnect with you as well.
Good. I'm glad you feel that way too. So listen, I'm going to let you just briefly explain who you are and what you do, and kind of like what you specialize in. We can just start there and have a really casual conversation.
Okay, well, I'm Matt with Meuli Law Office, and we're not allowed as attorneys to say that we specialize in anything because that's against the Colorado bar rules. But what we focus on is business and estate planning. So, that just basically means we put the plan together so that you can write your legacy for those folks that, you want to leave things to, whether it's your business or whether it's your stuff, your estate. We help make that happen. And just recently in this whole COVID-19 thing, it's just come to my attention that we're all real aware of what can happen if you do not have a plan when the unexpected happens. We're reactionary mode. We're trying to catch up with things. It may cost trillions of dollars to get out of some of the mistakes we've made. And it's just hard to be real proactive and do anything correctly when you're just responding to circumstances. And that's why I think with what we do with helping people plan how to exit their business, how to retire, help people plan on, how to leave their assets and their legacy to the people they love should something happen to them. That's why I think it's so important, because wow, it's just doesn't feel right when we're going through life without a plan right now.
Wow is right. And I work with a lot of small business owners. I know the term small business means a lot of different things. Like, it can mean a one-man show to quite, I don't know what it is. Jennifer was telling me yesterday, and I already forgot, it's like up to 35 employees and a certain amount of revenue. But there is such a big span of difference, right? But everybody that I've talked to has had that wow, of course, like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was only good for 30 days. And that's kind of the majority, honestly. It's absolutely terrifying. I have a few clients who were very prepared, and they just rode this thing out, and they just were able to breathe and look for the advantage and pivot. And that's where you want to be, right? But how can you be there without some type of either bad experience that allows you never to do this again, or someone like you that can kind of guide people down the road? So how do you start working with businesses? Do you just have a consult and talk about general business strategies, or can you give me some kind of idea as to how that works?
Sure. And I got, just before I do that, I got into the whole helping business planning uh, because of the estate planning I do, because a lot of the people that we reached out to, they wanted to take care of the ones they loved. They wanted to make sure that the people that they wanted would be raising their kids, and they just wanted to leave their legacy in such a way that they uh, they just liked working with us, and they liked us being proactive. But a lot of them turned out being a little younger than most of the estate planning clients, and a lot of them had businesses.
Oh,
And a lot of them had nothing but a business. When you're a small business person, a lot of times you don't have big IRAs, you don't have big 401ks and those kind of things. All you have is your business. And so every little extra dime you have, you put back in your business.
yeah.
So a lot of these estate plans were just based on this person's business. And I came to realize that if I didn't help them with their business and show them how to make their business grow, that their only asset that they wanted to take care of the surviving spouse, or they wanted to take care of their kids, wouldn't be worth anything. And let's face it, if you're a solo business person and something happens to you and no one else can take over, your business isn't worth anything. So you have not left a good legacy for your family. You haven't taken care of them. So because of that, we started coming up with these ways to try to help businesses have a value, to make them, give them systems and give them procedures and things like that, so they'd be scalable and saleable, so that when they did die, there was something that they could pass on. And so to get to your question, and I apologize because attorneys can be long-winded. So
Oh, no, it's such a relevant point. Thank you so much. It's absolutely essential. That's foundational for everything else we're talking about. Yeah.
but I always find myself apologizing as an attorney, because we're taught in law school uh, to never ask a question that you don't know the answer to, which makes you really good litigator, but makes you a lousy business planner. But anyway, we started looking at how can we help these business owners have value, and we came up with this acronym called LIFT, LIFT, and that stands for legal, insurance, financial, and tax. And what we do when we sit down with a business is we look at all those things, the legal side of the business, and make sure you have the right contracts in place, make sure you have the right agreements, make sure you have the right structure so you're not paying as much taxes as only the taxes that you need to pay.
Yeah.
And then we look at the insurance, and we don't sell insurance, but we can sure analyze the risk and see that if a creditor comes after you, or one of those late night attorneys that you see, uh, whose names rhyme like frogs and strong arms and things
Oh
like
my
that.
gosh, the billboard
Um,
attorneys.
yeah, that's the world I live in. So we try
Although
to
I
be a
sell
little
billboards.
different than those boys. But anyway, um, if they come after you, if you have insurance, that's your first line of defense. We want to make sure that you had a foundation there. The financial piece, we were helping people find their numbers that they needed to hit each month so that they know that they could grow.
Wow.
Put together a dashboard for them so that as a business person, you could look at those numbers and you could say, okay, this week might not have been really good, but when I compare it to the same week last year, we're actually ahead of where we were. So I don't have to go home and kick the dog, and hopefully you still kiss your wife when you go home. But you don't have to get stressed out about it. And then finally, the tax part of it, we just sat down with people and said, hey, if you're going to be a business, live like a business, live that business lifestyle, and therefore lower your taxes from maybe 30 to 50% to something closer to 10% of what you're making. So that's typically when we sit down with somebody, we do this lift audit. We just find out where the holes are, and hopefully that whole business will be able to float. And then the business owner says, I got the most anxiety about this part of the lift audit. Can you work on that first?
Wow, these are complete business strategies.
Well, they really are, and we have to be real specific, because I found out as a business owner myself, it all starts with mindset. And if
Yes.
you can't get through the mindset, I mean, what's going to happen is your subconscious is going to hold you back, and it's going to make you be comfortable, which means familiar, and it may not be helping your business, but it just feels safe. And until you actually get these systems and build them, and basically build a machine that you can strap yourself to get to your goals, kicking and screaming through your fear, so you can get the better mindset so that you just know how to be a business person. When I started out, no one in law school, we didn't even have one class on business. We were all told if we were a great lawyer, we wouldn't, have lawsuits from employees. We'd know how to market. We know how to do all these other things, which just simply isn't true. It's different being a business person than it is being a technician. So that's what we try to help our business owners see.
Wow, these are really significant points. It's like this is true for pretty much everyone, right? Attorneys, realtors, insurance agent. Well, insurance agents probably get at least some sales training, but musicians, like anybody and everybody. And I've worked with a lot of franchise owners who think they bought the golden key, and when they turn it that's what a turnkey operation is, only to find out, holy crap, what about, they didn't tell us about grassroots marketing or the competition or anything. It just doesn't work like that. So I love what you're saying, because you're talking about like strapping yourself to a blueprint that holds you accountable and is giving you constant feedback, like the daily feedback of, okay, recalibrate, like this is how you started out this morning. This is what, I don't know what the heck you did during the day, because honestly, that's a huge problem. We get so busy with everything, we get off track, off task. So to have something to keep coming back to, that strategy, that blueprint, and then someone like you that is there to say, this is what's happening, I'm holding you accountable, I'm helping you get to the next level. That's so much more than, gosh, I don't know any attorneys like that. You're like the attorney with a heart. How'd you do that?
Well, I had to structure myself. When I first started, I was a litigator. I was a mineral tax attorney in Wyoming and went up against the big coal companies, the big oil and gas companies, things like that. And I would have 4 hearings a week sometimes, for billions of dollars in taxable value. And it just burned me out. I hated being a reactive attorney who's always coming in after, the feces have hit the rotary oscillator, so to speak. It just wasn't a way to go through life, I didn't think. Also, I wanted to help clients. I wanted to have a relationship with them. And to charge hourly, charge 0.1, 0.2 hours for each phone call, that doesn't develop a relationship with clients and whatnot. So I looked at my profession. I actually got out of it for a while because it was just not satisfying. And I actually started teaching school. I was teaching business to school kids.
I taught right. Okay. Wow.
Junior high. I taught high school. I taught master's in public administration courses in CU in Denver. So I started teaching business. And then after that, I finally realized I had a mind shift change of my own. I finally realized I could practice law on my own terms. I could just have a flat fee. I could have a relationship with my clients, and I could be proactive to keep them out of court and conflict instead of reactive after it already happened. And that's what the thing was that changed my life and allowed me to be not only the person I wanted to be, but also to help clients where I really wanted to help them.
Matt, that is brilliant. I love that. Look at all the needs you're meeting, and you're really addressing life like head on, authentically, with a need that is really important, and making it accessible for people, helping them where they're hurting, and allowing, people, well, I don't know if you've ever heard this, but lawyers kind of have a stigmatism attached. I know no one's let you in on this secret, but
wow, yeah, that's news to me.
we're afraid to call you. We're afraid because, oh my God, what's it going to cost? I just want one question. Let me see how I can turn it into a tweet, so it doesn't cost me much, right?
Well, yeah, and and how do you, in estate planning, one of the things we do with that and with our business planning clients as well is we have a free review every 3 years. Why? Because the law changes. Why? Because your life changes. And the plan that you have on paper that we wrote 3 years ago may not be the same plan that will work right now during a pandemic,
Yeah.
or the plan you wrote 3 years ago may not work now that you're getting married or that you're having a kid or whatever. So we just go ahead and review those plans for free to keep them updated and fresh. So I guess, about the attorney jokes and all those kind of things, there's a few
Sorry.
out there. And unfortunately, most of them have been earned by attorneys. So that's the the profession I'm in, and we're just trying to take a different approach to see if we can, at least put a human face on it, put a relation on it, and really help our business owners leave that legacy that they want to leave to the ones they love.
Well, I respect that so much and appreciate it, being a small business owner myself and understanding that sometimes you just need to recalibrate and you need some perspective. And if you know you can pay a flat fee and you know what you're in for, and then you can work from there, that can be an open door, right? That can be the door that allows someone to step through and then carry on, to whatever level they need to.
Yeah.
Um, oh, I was also going to say that what you're sharing is so important. And I remember now when I met you, I was working in the senior industry, and you were talking a lot about legacy, and that's a whole thing. Like, very often when you're running a business, you have that vision initially, but I don't know how it is, right? People get lost because they're trying to build their business. Right now people are trying to survive. There's kind of a bit of a polarity, I think, where some people are seeing the advantage and they're able to move forward, and then others who aren't going to make it, right? And that's a real wake up call. But really, I love that you have that heart to build the legacy and help people stay focused on where they're going. And what is that? Kind of goes back to the mindset thing again. Like, why are you doing this, right? What's your reason for doing this? And let's keep you focused on that and make sure you're on track to achieve those goals.
Right. And keep, we feel that we want to help you pass on your values as well as your valuables, because it's really not all about money. I mean, leaving a business may be just time to retire, but if you don't have that written out and agreed to on how you're going to gracefully exit, it's hard to sell to your partner sometime. Or if you wait until you and your partners get into a fight, that's very difficult to come up with any kind of agreement at that time as well. That's reactive. That's not the proactive way that we want to do it. But the mindset is sometimes just sitting down with someone who's made all the mistakes so that you don't have to. I remember one of our clients, we just really sat down and said, you really have to have a wow experience for your customer before you spend even $1 on marketing, because if you don't, you're paying all these people to go out on Facebook and just, they're going to trash you because you didn't have a good experience. And it seems that we as humans, we like to tell everybody in the world when we have a bad experience. But if we have a really good experience with somebody, it's like this treasure that we only want to share with one or two of our closest friends. So if you don't have a business experience that feels like a treasure to that client, don't be spending a lot of money on marketing. I mean, get your ducks in a row first, get your financial ducks in a row first, and then it's a lot easier to get things set from then on out. And the other thing is just pick what kind of people you want to work with, because if you can specifically identify your customers that you like to work with, it's so much easier to get your marketing message out there. It's so much cheaper because you now know, if you know your customer, you know what books they read, you know what papers they look at, you know what radio stations they listen to, you know what doctor's offices they go to, and you can advertise there instead of putting up those big brands and the billboards and trying to be like Coca-Cola or Pepsi-Cola, where you're just trying to get your brand out there. which
Right.
costs billions of dollars. So, it's just some little tricks like that I think that when you sit down with someone who's been through it, you can really skip a lot of the heartache and a lot of that cost of making a mistake. And that's what we try to do for people.
Well, it sounds like you have an incredibly holistic approach. Like when I think attorney, I don't really think like that. So I love that you've changed my perception already. And um, yeah, these are good marketing tips. I mean, like I think I mentioned this on an interview the other day, just the Seth Godin thing, who I just love that guy, but he drives home again and again and again. And we actually all know this from our own real life experience, but you only really need a small group of people to pay attention to you to create a very successful business, regardless, as long as you're delivering that wow experience, right? You have to understand them at such and we're going down a marketing road here, which I should not start talking about because that'll make me not stop. But yeah, if you understand them, just like you're saying, and you deliver what they need and what they want, and you listen to them, which is exactly what you've built your entire business on, which I just commend you for, because often people don't listen and they don't know how to pivot because they're not paying attention to what their little tribe needs. And they just keep going like, why isn't this working? Well, step back, right? So
Well, and you're absolutely right, Michelle. I mean, listening to somebody, I mean, the biggest barrier that we've found as an office and working with people that comes to listening to somebody is that you just have these assumptions of what the other person is thinking. So it's just like when we got together, you said, okay, this guy's got attorney in his name, so this is the way he's going to be. And there's just some assumptions that we unfortunately put on people. And until we take the time and we care enough and we have the heart to learn whether those assumptions are true or not, we're never going to have meaningful communication. So, I'm really appreciating what you're saying there, because it is so very true that a lot of times we can't have a meeting of the minds because we're just saying, well, I'm not even going to tell this person about this risk because they're never going to go for it. They're not going to pay for it. And my biggest fear that I have is if I ever have a client come back and say, Matt, had I only known that this could have happened, I would have gladly paid you to keep it from happening.
yeah,
But I made an assumption about them. They didn't want to do that, and so I took that protection away from them just because of my limitations and not exploring what my client needed. So it's been a learning process for myself as well, because attorneys typically aren't real good communicators. So I've had to really work hard on that part of it and listening.
yeah, exploring what your client really needs. That, yeah, that's pretty much the whole story.
And you
Because
can't do it by just uh, talking to them in one session, producing a bunch of documents and sending them on their way. I mean, it's a relationship. It's very important to be part of the team. It's very important to check in and work with that client year after year after year, so you can keep the documents fresh, so they'll work when they need them, but also that you can learn and find out new things about your client so that you can help them avoid problem situations in the future.
yeah, so exploring their needs, finding those problem situations that could potentially come down the road, those conversations is what develop the trust and the relationship so that you have that ongoing help. Because the other thing is, like I was talking with Jenny, the accountant, about this yesterday, and it's very, you know what, it's in every business. It's just like this. If you don't have a foundational relationship, you leave. I mean, like if somebody just ignores your calls for too long, it's just not worth it, right? So it's basic kind of like respect and communication and very essential components that I think we've all become sloppy about, honestly. Social media and the different ways and all the stimulation, the different ways we have to communicate have really been so overstimulating that it allows you, if you don't discipline your own communication style and you're not committed to, you know, your mindset, like you're not committed to your communication, things can fall away and everybody will excuse you, right? Except the people that matter, which is your clients. So yeah, it's really interesting how it kind of all comes back to pretty basic things.
Right. And your clients really do matter and you like to have a relationship with them. But I'd even go a step further, which is why we do the estate planning, is your family is actually your biggest investor. Because, you know, when you're at work, they're the ones giving up the time with you. If you do poorly at work, they're the ones that suffer from the money that you cannot bring at home. So you're, in my view, your family is your biggest treasure, and they're your biggest investors, if you will, or shareholders may be a better, stakeholders may be the
I
best
love
word.
that.
And
Whether
they
they
just
know
need
it
to
or
be
not.
included. Yeah, they need to be included in your planning. And if you can,
Wow.
you know, get a good estate plan so your business doesn't have to go through probate, so they don't have to wait for 18 months to get paid, you know, you can have your kids take over immediately or get help immediately by estate planning. To me, that's just a loving way to take care of your family.
I love that. So let's change topics just slightly here. How were you affected by this? Whatever, let's find a new name for it. I'm so tired of talking about it. Okay, this thing, this pandemic. How were you affected, and did you have to pivot? Did you lose clients, gain clients? Was it kind of holding steady for you, or what was that like?
That's, you know, it's difficult to answer that in a vacuum, you know, because it's been about 2 or 3 months. I know it seems like it's been 5 years, but it really
I know.
hasn't. I mean, the days are going really, really slow, but the weeks are going fast. I don't know what kind of phenomenon that is.
Mhm.
Uh, but, you know, part of what we do is we usually got a big insurge of clients after they talk to their accountant or their CPA, because while they're filing their taxes, their CPA is usually saying, well, are you protected? I mean, well, do you have a place for all this money to go? Do you have a plan so you don't have to pay a whole bunch of additional taxes when you die? And so it puts that reminder in people's mind. And so traditionally in April and May, we had a lot of people come in. Well, now, because of the unnamed thing that we're not naming, that which we
Sorry,
will not
just
name,
bored of
uh,
it, you know.
you know, the tax return isn't due until July 15th, and there's no penalties and interest. So a lot of those people didn't come in. So from that standpoint, I didn't have like the 6 or 7 people coming in a week who wanted a plan. But when I look back at my metrics, my numbers, because you know I try to keep numbers for myself as well as teach my clients how to do
Yeah.
this. When I'm looking back, my months haven't been they haven't been the top months like when all those clients came in, but they haven't been the bottom ones either. So we've kind of maintained where we were, and we're doing a lot more things on Zoom. I've done Zoom signings where people will sign their estate planning documents, and we'll just have them turn the laptop camera down so I can watch them sign as their notary and things like that. We've done them in the cars where we've had the window go up and down when you pass the documents. So yeah, I
It's
think
a new world. Yeah.
it is a new world. So I think that's slowed us down a little bit, and we've had to pivot to meet the new world.
Mhm.
We've had to go online a lot more. We're trying some social media, but you know, you just don't turn on social media without doing the know, like, and trust, especially as an attorney. So you know, I'm needing to get in there as a human first, and then maybe as a estate and business planner second. So that's been a big pivot. But the main thing is to try to get that mindset into a place where you may have to reformulate your plan, but you're using the new circumstances as an opportunity instead of a reason to panic.
Yeah.
And I think about that all the time. It's trying to keep it as an opportunity, not a panic. Because if I go back a year from now, a year ago, I may have had an illusion of certainty, but my health could have gone, I could have got in a car wreck, whatever. I wasn't any better off back then than I am now. It's just now everyone's talking about it. But if you really think about your life up to this point, every given day was a blessing just to be alive. And that's the way I feel now. And yeah, there's a lot of noise out there that's causing people to panic, but there's also a lot of opportunity out there. And, now's the time to really start planning, come up with that new plan, and come out on top of this, because there's going to be a whole bunch of pent up demand once this thing is over, and it turns into number 20 because it's a new outbreak, whatever. There's opportunities out there. So it's just tough, and it's just we're fortunate because of what we do and how we train others to have our ducks in a row so that we could survive a lot of things. And I'm just happy for that. And I've been trying to pay it forward by buying a lot of gift cards to restaurants and grocery stores for the people who've lost jobs and things like that. I'm trying to help where I can, but it's just a new world, and it's a new mindset.
Yeah. You're so awesome. I love your mindset, and I love that you're giving out, and I hope that you'll share more in the group, because I'll have to check out your Facebook page, and everybody in the group, I invite you to go to Matt's Facebook page and read his posts, comment on them, like, share, all that stuff, because that's what he's talking about. So that people, what we want is for people to see what his response is to this pandemic, or no name, whatever I'm not calling it now, but so that we can, people can get to know him, and therefore obviously they'll like you right away, and then they'll trust you, and then they'll come do business with you, and that will help them pass on everything they need to be passing on to their kids and their family.
And I welcome them to do that. I mean, that's great. It's Matt of Meuli Law is the Facebook page. And you can also find us online at yourtrustedplanner.com.
Okay, what do you want to, I will I will actually post your Facebook page in the group, and anybody, if you have questions or whatever, you can message him right in the group if you want to, and I'm sure he'd be happy to. Here's my invite. He'll be happy to jump on a call with you and answer your questions, or answer them in the group or whatever, so you can get to know him.
I'll do my best. I am kind of a technological dinosaur. I've been an attorney since 1988, so I've been at this for a while, but I'm learning Facebook and I'm trying to get out there. So
Good
doing
job.
my best.
Yeah, well, if this is Zoom meeting number 6 for you today, I know you're definitely on your way, and you're doing all this. Yeah, it's crazy what people have to do now. The things they were afraid to do, the things I've been begging my clients to do,
Right.
get on a video. Now they're like, okay. So that's part of the opportunity you're talking about, though. I see that all the time. It's like, just look over here, you guys. I know it's painful, but you got to look over here. Look on the horizon. Think bigger. Think outside of where you've been. And the funniest thing is really what you just said, which is it's not like you weren't at risk before. You just weren't feeling the pain of it so much, So now use that as an opportunity to grow, to get your act together, and
be a leader, help others.
Change. Yeah. Change, everybody. Yeah, do it. It's a great opportunity, because every time something like this happens, it's really just kind of a kick in the butt to improve more quickly.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kick in the butt to improve more quickly. Yeah, nothing like a pandemic to get you off your butt and start acting. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we don't have control over it, so you might as well control what you have control over, right?
I'm finding I don't have control over anything. But as long as I have a good plan to follow, it's a lot easier to pivot when life inevitably gives you lemons. It's a little easier to make that lemonade. So that's why I love planning. It's just an opportunity to get together with somebody and write the last chapter of their life, and then we can look at making it come true.
Yeah, I love that. That's so great. You have so many great, I gotta go check out your website. You've said so many things I keep wanting to say. Is that your tagline? Is that your tagline? Is that your tagline? Because you've got so many great, you're just talking about who you are. Like, you are your brand and you
Appreciate
are
that.
it. So I love that you're sharing just so transparently, I guess, about your intentions and who you are. And I think that that's what makes people feel comfortable enough to take the next step and have a conversation with you. So invite everybody to do that. And so, Matt, is there anything else you want to share before I ask you a final couple questions?
Well, when you were talking about all this technology and the Zoom and everything, I was thinking as a parent, it's a great idea in my mind just to set up your own Zoom meeting and record it and just speak into your kids' lives in case something happens to you, because that's the best way you can pass on your values and pass on your legacy, is just to say, this may never be heard, but I'm going to put this in an archive somewhere where I'm going to tell my children why I'm proud of them, what I would tell them when they got married in case I can't do it in person, and just to maybe start a little Zoom video library that your kids could look at if something unexpected happened to you. I think that would be a marvelous thing to do, and I offer that as an estate planner and a business planner as something that you can do to just leave that legacy.
Yeah, I love that. That's a great idea, everybody. So one more Zoom, but this one will be really meaningful. It's a good idea. Yeah. I did something like that actually about a year ago, but it wasn't on Zoom. And it was such a growth experience. I did 30 days of talking to my two kids. And that is another story and for another time.
I love it. Way to
but
go.
but Matt, what I want to ask you is, so as I've said like a few times, the whole purpose of this group is really to create that kind of tribe or family or whatever, that we really can have an opportunity to get to know each other a little bit more deeply than we might at just a networking event or something, and understand what people's struggles are, what their triumphs are, and what their needs are, where they are, where they want to go, and then really support each other in getting there. And that could be by something as simple as buying a gift card or sending a referral or going to someone's Facebook page and commenting and learning more, and just so that the referrals can start going. Because again, nobody knows what's going to happen, but one thing for absolutely certain is that we have to support small business. And we're in Northern Colorado with amazing people and people who are really open to giving and sharing. And we gotta, we can't just, I say this every time, we can't keep shopping on Amazon. Like, we have to support. It's so easy. It's so hard not to, but we have to make a concerted effort to be aware of what's happening around us, so that we can not only survive this, but everybody can really thrive, and we can keep putting money into the economy and like business, commerce, like, let's go, So on that note, talk about being too verbose. Let us ask you, how can we best support you? Like, what's your ask for the group? What would you like? How can we best support you in your business?
Well, the way that you can support me is by letting me get to know you, by coming by and having a cup of coffee, by watching the webinars that we have on why you may need a business plan or why you may need an estate plan, just to allow me to educate you about what we do and to simply just make the decision after you're educated. So any way that happens, if it's me buying you coffee, or if we ever get together for lunch again, sitting however feet across, I don't know. But those kind of things, it's just to allow me to get to know you, I think is the biggest thing that's helpful for me. You're going to know if you need a plan or not. I mean, you're going to know if it makes sense, and you're going to know if I'm the guy that can help you. But if you don't see your attorney as being someone that you want to spend the rest of your life working with, don't use that attorney. You might as well go online and get it done.
That's a huge statement. Okay, so where's your office? Are you in Windsor?
We have, we have a couple offices. One's in Fort Collins, but our main one's in Windsor, and we're right on Main Street.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just in the main street of Windsor. So that's the Windsor that's in Weld County, not the Windsor that's in Larimer County. So, but we're on Main Street and right downtown on 5th and Main Street. So, just would love to have people stop by. And yes, I've had people just walk into my attorney's office, sit down for a cup of coffee and talk, which I think is fantastic.
Oh my God, I love that. Okay, so I have to interject really quickly, because every single person that I've interviewed so far in our group has expressed the sentiment that they want to be considered like, the doctor in the family or the accountant in the family. And that's what this feels like to me too. So Matt is like the attorney in the like what everybody's always wanted. You guys, here it is.
Yeah, I want to be your trusted advisor for life is what my goal is.
That's amazing. That is very meaningful. So are you, oh God, what was I going to say? Oh, where's your Fort Collins office? Are you on South College? Or
we're in the executive suites over there at the Front Range Business Center, which is First Bank on it's College and Boardwalk. Right. It's catty corner from the Olive Garden.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I would invite you, like, if you want to do a webinar in the group, as I'm really starting to put some time and energy and effort into this, I like to get this group. We have to hit 200 first. That's our first goal. Sure. So looking for everybody to invite 5 people, and we're trying to keep it to 1 business per category. And there's always going to be a little bit of crossover, but please, everybody, invite your friends, and it would be awesome if you want to invite people to an existing webinar you're doing. Like, I don't know if you charge for them, or if you want to do one in the group, you're welcome to, and see what kind of, I want people to promote themselves in the group. This is one of those, everything, there's no rules. Well, be nice, but everyone's already nice. Don't use the P word, no. But promote do use the P word, I guess, if it's promotion, no pandemic. But just promote your webinar, promote yourself, what's going on, send out an invite. Who wants to stop by for coffee today? I'm lonely in my office. You don't have to wear a mask or whatever your parameters are. I don't know what they are. So yeah. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that, and we will get a webinar on there, and they're always educational, they're always free, and there's never any expectation. It's just I want you to know the risks, so you won't come back to me and say, Matt, had I only known that this was going to happen, I would have gladly taken care of it.
Do a webinar in our group. It would be great. And then we can promote that outside of the group to get some people coming in. So I'm hoping that people will do more and more of that. Share who you are by giving value, and then things will grow, right? So use this group to your advantage, and let's look at the advantage in everything. And Matt, it's awesome. You're just really, really a remarkable, unique individual. And I'm so happy that you're part of our group. And I hope that we can send a bunch of business your way. And I appreciate your time today. And I think that you look totally energized now. No more like Zoom burnout. Go for a walk or something. That's what I'm going to go for a walk, and then we'll all feel better.
All right. Well, thank you for the opportunity, and I love being in this group as well. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You make it a great day, and I'll see you in the group. Okay. I'll send you, you'll see this interview, and then I'll send you a link. You can share it if you want to. And I can't edit out any of the weird parts. So it's just, you get what you get. Okay.
Love it.
Thank you. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye now. Thank you.